Hi guys, I'm Kalila Reynolds with an IPO alert. That's right, there's a new IPO on the market. This one is the long-awaited Fesco IPO. And if you didn't know, Fesco is actually an acronym. It stands for Future Energy Source Company. They're a Jamaican-owned fuel distribution company with 14 service stations island-wide. They're now selling 20% of the company with plans to list on the junior market of the Jamaica Stock Exchange. I'm going to be talking to their chairman, Trevor and CEO Jeremy Barnes. But first, let's take a look at the details of this offer. 500 million ordinary shares in Fesco are being sold. This includes 300 million new shares and 200 million from a group of 6 existing shareholders, including the 5 founders. All shares are being sold at 80 cents Jamaican each, so they're seeking to raise 400 million Jamaican dollars. That's only about 2.7 million US, so this is a small one. It is junior market after all. Additionally, only a small fraction are being offered to the public. Most of these shares are reserved for the broker, that's NCB Capital Markets, key partners, and employees. Only 175 million shares are available for the public to buy, and at 80 cents each, that's only 140 million Jamaican dollars, or less than $1 million US dollars. So for that reason, I expect this offer to open and close very quickly, most likely the same day. You basically have between now and the open date to apply. The minimum purchase is 1,000 shares, so you can be a part of this for as little as 800 Jamaican dollars plus fees. It will work out to less than $1,000 total. The lead broker is NCB Capital Markets, and you can apply using Go IPO if you're an NCB client, or direct deposit for everyone else. The links are on my website and in the description below. So I've got a lot of questions about this offer. Joining me now are Fesco Chairman Trevor and CEO Jeremy Barnes. Hi Trevor, hi Jeremy. Welcome to my channel, welcome to my page.
Good to be here.
Great to be here.
And congratulations on the IPO. So Trevor, as one of the founding members and probably the most known name associated with Fesco, give me some background about this company.
I've been in the gasoline retail trade for over 30 years. And, I have served in the capacity as president of the Jamaica Gasoline Retailers Association for 2 terms. But notwithstanding that, my relationship with my marketing company at the time was onerous. And as you probably know, I've always articulated the terms and conditions and the relationship between marketers and retailers themselves. There was not much response. And so at the time, I thought it useful that we should, as an association, seek to have a marketing company that will be able to provide fuel to independent retailers who are owners and operators of their own sites. So that is where that was born, the idea of a local entity to service its own owners, dealers, and shareholders. So Fesco was born, and we started operations. And I think the first load of fuel went out in 2013, close to the end of the year. And here we are, 7 years later, or 6 years later, we are in a position where we are able to go to market and invite the Jamaican public to be a part of our company.
You've since expanded to 14 locations all across the country, and you are now seeking to expand within the Kingston metropolitan area with a new location at Ferry and a new location on Beechwood Avenue as well. But tell me about that journey over the past 7 years, Trevor. What has it been like? Because you are in an industry that is dominated by these major marketing companies, these large international, multinational companies as well. And it must be hard being the small guy.
Well, something, I have no fear. I have faith and I have a commitment to the Jamaican people, to buy Jamaican, to be Jamaican, and to support Jamaican entrepreneurs. And through the years, that has been manifested quite a bit. And clearly, it's a clear manifestation in terms of the support that we have received as a local marketing company. We pride ourselves in the significant growth we have through the years. And we will continue to grow. We have some extremely ambitious projects ahead of us, and we really want to share this with Jamaica. But notwithstanding that, it's been, we are not threatened by any other competitor. We hold true on the mission that we have created and put together. And we will continue that process of expanding and growing the business. I really believe that Jamaicans in Jamaica should buy Jamaica, because guess what? All of the profits, the income, all of the resources that we've earned remain here in Jamaica. We do not expatriate any of our profits to overseas shareholders. Everything remains here for the purpose of a Jamaican and the Jamaican economy.
So we're going to come to the details of the IPO shortly. So some of you are selling your shareholdings, and there are also some new shares being created that are being sold to the public. But I think before we go into the details of the IPO, we ought to address the elephant in the room, which is an incident that happened last year, that big fire at your service station in Mandeville at the Heavens location, right around the time that you were preparing the IPO, unfortunately. And there was a lot of criticism at the time, Trevor, that because this video was going around showing a pump attendant, it appeared being negligent. So tell me about what led to that and how that has been resolved, so that people can have the assurance that you there at Fesco are complying with industry standards.
Again, we pride ourselves in the fact that we are compliant. We have inspections routinely from the Factories Corporation of Jamaica that do investigations and assessments of our location, make recommendations for safety of the operations. We also have regular visits, regular training from the fire department, and we've been compliant on all fronts. The incident itself is really very unfortunate, and the worst part of it is that we have a fatality.
Right.
And as life would have it, this weekend, January 21st, Sunday, January 21st marks a year since this has taken place. We have reached out to the community, we have reached out to the family, we have ensured that we stay in touch with the persons affected. We were able to go ahead and we are able to assist all those persons who had damages to complete their claims and to submit them to the relevant agencies for settlement. So something in retrospect, we did all we could. Up to this point, because of the damage, we are unable to definitively identify what really happened, what took place. Although we have issues and we have evidence of what might have happened.
I see. So another thing that we need to address up front is the impact of COVID-19, because another player in the transportation industry, TRANSJAMAICAN Highway, recorded big losses because there's been this fewer people traveling in general. You have the loss of tourism, schools have been closed, so you don't have school traffic, people have been working from home. And so how has COVID-19 impacted the company's financials? I think it's a good place for Jeremy to jump in here.
Well, COVID-19, despite all that it has brought, has actually negatively impacted the industry. The overall market has been down about 7.5%, but at Fesco, and I'm talking volume in terms of liters. So the overall market has been down about 7.5% through October 2020, whereas Fesco, we have been up. We've been up, over 7% for 2020, which is, I think, is a very creditable performance, because in the heights of, the whole COVID and the shutdown in early March, April, May, everybody suffered decline. The market declined over 30%. We declined 25%. But since then, we have grown our volumes, and as I said, our volumes have even surpassed what we did in 2019. This is a combination of factors. We've had a new site open in Old Harbour, which has contributed positively to that growth. But in addition to that, existing stations have had growth. Even if you subtract out what Old Harbour has brought to the table, we still have grown versus 2019. And again, it's a testament to our model where we like to build out or to rebrand destination stations. Those are stations that have multiple services. So a customer, with limited or lessened hours to transact business during curfews can come to one of our stations and do multiple services. So what you find is that we've been able to grow during COVID.
And that really is impressive because, like you noted, other players in the industry have suffered losses. When you look at the 5-year financials, the past 5 years that are contained in the prospectus as well, we noticed a noticeable bump up to March 2020 because your financial year ends March, right?
Correct.
So tell me what happened between 2019, 2020, why your revenues and your profits jumped quite significantly that year.
Well, when you start out in the business, you have to, I guess, attract dealers, not so much customers, because we do business between Fesco and dealers, not necessarily Fesco and customers, so it's B2B. So when you start out in the industry, you have to have attractive pricing to attract dealers. So over that period, we're able to increase our margins because we have displayed to them over the years that what Fesco is selling is more than just price. We're selling excellent service to our dealership network, which includes, you see how fast or responsive we were to the incident in Mandeville that we're able to rebuild. So we have equipment, personnel, maintenance, a lot of services that dealers need to keep their business running and running efficiently and minimize downtime. In addition to that, we've started our marketing campaign around that time where we started to sponsor the Jamaica Talawars, and we sponsored the Retro Premier League as official fuel sponsor. So our entire offering to the public increased, and in such we were able to increase our margins to our dealers, and that along with growing, as you can see, the volume of liters of fuel that we've been selling over the years have been consistently growing. So a combination of volumes and margins enable that big jump.
And on that same note, looking at the projections for the next 5 years, they are rather optimistic. I don't know if optimistic is the word, but they're looking quite rosy. I know there are some revisions being made, so perhaps you should clarify that. So the prospectus was actually removed from the JSD's website. Explain why that was before we continue, because some people, after the whole alliance thing, people kind of, scared about that now.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, ours is an era of omission, and it was not to do related to anything in the past. It was related to the projected incomes from 2022 to 2025, and actually they were understated in the prospectus that came out. So they're being revised, or they have been revised, and we're going to upload it shortly. You said that our projections are optimistic. Actually, we think
So it was understated because you have projections to double your revenue in 5 years and triple your profit. And you're saying that's actually understated. It's supposed to be more?
It's supposed to be a little bit more, but generally speaking, we believe that our projections are very conservative. The model of Fesco initially was that we operated through dealer-owned stations. Again, I said it was a business-to-business business. We're into business to customer now. So we're opening, as I said, a station on Beachwood Avenue, which is going to be the first station that's owned by the company. What that will do is enable us to earn, in addition to wholesale margins, allow us to earn retail margins. Again, you're buying into a company which this is not just a pipe dream or a plan to be implemented sometime in the future. These, to develop a station roughly takes about 2 to 3 years, sometimes 4 years. We've actually gone through all the planning process and actually have started construction on this Beachwood facility, which we hope will be open to the public in June of this year. So with that, in addition to the ferry openings, and we have a few more openings for dealer-owned stations that we have in the pipeline, That combined with going into the LPG business as a new entrant, we believe that we can grow our profits and revenues at what we think we can. We just believe that at this point in time is a perfect time for somebody coming into Fesco. They're getting a company that proven itself that it can make money at a very good rate when you talk about return on investment or return on equity. We have the projects in place, we have the approvals, and we have actually started construction and nearing construction. So what you have is a lot of investment is going to earn money pretty soon, and you're jumping in at just the right time to get the asset of owning Fesco's equity at a great price that will allow you to earn great profits going forward.
And Beechwood Avenue is there by the Observer, right?
Yes, it is.
So it's that halfway tree area, highly trafficked area.
Yes, it is. It's going to be a 6-island station, which allows us to service 12 cars at a time. It's the most efficient design of our gas station. It's called a starter gate design. It's on, we bought 3 lots and consolidated those 3 lots into one service station. And we believe strongly that the value proposition of that station will benefit all our shareholders.
Mm-hmm. You also mentioned that you all plan to, well, part of the proceeds of this IPO would be used to venture into LPG cooking gas. So right. Trevor, tell me why this plan to add that to the customer service line? Why you want to go into cooking gas?
You know something, we have added value to our main product, fuel. So far, we've added a complete line of fuel oils under the Future Loop brand. We've added our own chemicals. We have added our own
certified oils in Future Oils.
Future Oils, yeah, and our own chemicals and lubricants as well. We've added on as well our FYC water, which is branded from the name of our stores. And so we continue to look at other cost centers that can generate income. And so cooking gas is a natural for a fuel station. Based on our distribution of networks for the network across the island, we believe that cooking gas, LPG, is one of the other commodities that we could look at and bring on board to bolster our offering to our public. As Jeremy says, we're looking at one of the significant part of our portfolio, our brand and our model is to ensure that we have added services at our location. So a customer comes in, doesn't only come for fuel, but come for many other things. And so LPG is a natural for us. And I'm sure, as Jeremy was saying, to grow significantly our offering and our profits going forward.
What else do you plan to use the proceeds of the IPO for, Jeremy?
Just a very small part is going to use to pay off some interest-free directors' loans of about $15 million, which is a small amount. In addition to that, it's just really to build out, as I said, the LPG business and to a little bit more, so we can do a lot more of the industrial clients and dealer operated station. So it's working capital, part of our investment plans, and a little part of it is just to pay off some directors' loans that we have on the books, which in aggregate is just $15 million.
You made the pitch earlier that now is a good time to invest in a company such as Fesco that is on a growth trajectory. One of the things that potential investors often look at is the company's dividend policy. What is your dividend policy?
Well, in the past, we didn't have a dividend policy. Our great shareholders like Trevor and the rest of the directors and shareholders opted for no dividends so the company could grow. And as you can see, the company started from little or no equity in the beginning to having a book value as at today over $280 million. Going forward, we plan to pay 25% of net profit in dividends.
All right. Well, Trevor, I'm going to give you the last word here. Why should people buy into this IPO?
It's one of the greatest opportunities at this point for investment. I'm going to say it's guaranteed. As people would say, you have to buy food, you have to buy water, you have to buy gas. And so it's almost like a no-brainer. But one of the other things we wish to do out of this is to acknowledge the support of our customers and to say to them, here's an opportunity where you can bolster your income, whether you're a 9-to-5 employee, whether you're a business person, whether you're a corporate entity. This is a win-win for everybody. And so I'm going to suggest that you just buy Fesco IPO.
Okay.
All right. Thank you very much, Jeremy. Thanks, Trevor. I think we lost him right at the end there. Fortunately, we are wrapping up anyway. But all the best with your IPO, with your offer.
Right. Thank you. But one other thing, we really wanted, to be honest, we really wanted our customers and our dealers to become part of the ownership of Fesco. We believe, in the past, a lot of the multinationals never allowed customers and or their dealers to become part of the ownership structure of the company. We didn't agree with that. We believe that, having stakeholder base that actually are owners of the company is very important to the company. So part of this whole IPO, as you will see, is to actually extend the ownership to our dealers and our customers. And we really believe that Jamaican people deserve to own part of this industry. And it's, I don't want to, it's a quote, it isn't impacted that negatively by COVID. And again, our value proposition has made us, actually prosper during COVID. And we believe that going forward, we can execute our business imperatives and our objectives and our plans. And we believe that this is just an excellent time to buy this company at an excellent price, at a point in time where, we should be expecting greater profits and capital gains and dividends, in the near future.
All right. Thanks again, Trevor, Jeremy. All the best with the offer.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
So there you have it. Everything you need to know about the Fesco IPO. You can find the links to apply and to read the prospectus if you still want to know more on my website, KalilaReynolds.com. While you're there, also make sure you subscribe to my newsletter as well as to this YouTube channel. Like the video and share with a friend who might be interested in this offer. I'm Kalila Reynolds. Let's get this money.
Let's get this money.